Right, so you have your templates filled out. Your story is probably at this point about 80% done. Hopefully you were able to get it looked at by a partner, got a little bit of feedback. You're starting to think about your title and everything that goes into that. At this point, well, let's start writing. So I'm going to show you just a couple things. Your final will be turned in what's called MLA format. It's just a way we organize our papers. So make sure you pay attention to that. If you go on to college, you'll definitely need to be proficient in formatting, MLA, APA, Chicago. These are just ways to organize our thinking that's coherent across our discipline. But the main thing you're going to be working on is this. So you're going to go and to start your assignment. So you haven't made a document or anything yet. You're going to click on this. It's going to take you to an assignment. I think you're going to have to be logged into your P12, your Google account, for the ability to access that, but it should not be an issue. You are going to make a copy. So if I jump here into student view, we can see what it would look like on your end of things. And I didn't publish it, so I'm going to leave that, publish it real quick and try again. I hope you're enjoying your school year so far. I think you're probably in about September still. And September in Washington is a beautiful month. It is still light enough to go outside, but some of the trees are turning. Maybe it's cooling down. Maybe you're going to football games or whatever. So let's try this again. Let's see if we can publish it. It's going to be annoying here real quick. There we go. Not published. Let me publish it. It will not let me publish it. That's interesting. Save and publish. Try that. Okay. So now we should be able to hop into student view. This is fun. Okay, so I'm just going to walk you through. It should work on your end, I think, because I'm not in the official Canvas course. It might not completely make sense. So let's just open it up this way and walk you through here. So I already kind of preset it up in MLA format, so you really shouldn't have to do too much. Just make sure the font size is 12 and that it's double spaced. To double space it, you just highlight your writing, go over here to this little arrow going up and down, and hit 2 or double. I think on Microsoft Word it's a 2.0, but here it's just double. And now it's in double space. Even like at the end of the year, I would still have students who thought double spacing was putting 2 spaces in between each word. It's not that. It's not that. So you have a double space. This is really just like take your writing from your template and I mean, it's typed, so copy and paste it and then reformat it. Make sure it looks good on the page, make sure it goes in order, and that you have those narrative devices you were practicing earlier that you identified from the examples. Really focus on those. Those are what makes stories good. Then if you scroll down a little bit here, you'll see that you have a writing checklist. Okay, so I've written my story. Let's just double check I have everything. Do I have a title? Did I meet my word count? Okay, maybe it's a minimum of 250 words and oh, I'm only at 240. I better go add some more detail, right? If you don't have enough words, it probably means you didn't add enough of those details, those devices, descriptions, that kind of thing. If the range on word count is between 400 and 650, try to like split the difference, right? Maybe aim for 550 words might be a good amount. I think some prompts go all the way up to like 750 words, which is about 3 pages. So really none of this should be too overwhelming. The main thing I give feedback on is like, hey, this is a memoir. Like this isn't your autobiography. You don't have to tell your whole life story. This is right, memoir and the word memory share that same root for a reason, right? So you're just telling one little story. Maybe it's the story about you trying out for the fencing team for the first time, And your whole story takes place in one day's afternoon, right? You're not trying to tell me the whole story of like, and here's a middle school. That's too much, right? You really narrow it down to just scenes. Double check that it's in an MLA formatting, right? I have a little video you might have seen up there and a link to a website that will make sure you have everything taken care of. You have your narrative devices like easily identifiable. Did you check out the rubric? This you probably haven't done. You haven't seen it yet. So let's scroll down a little bit here. And here's the rubric. So you're being graded on several things. Your teacher might alter this a little bit, but this is the one I like to use. Do you have a story? That's the first rubric. Like, do you tell a story with a beginning, middle, and an end that seems to be intentional and well thought out? Do you get to kind of your conclusion, your thesis, right? Do I feel that your story is important? Or do you just kind of gloss over why your story matters? You should be able to communicate why your story matters, right? Do you have it in MLA formatting, right? Does it look consistent? Does it look tidy? Spell check, grammar check, especially if you are planning on sending this off to a college or university. That's a pretty big deal. I think I said in the unit intro video, like they read these really quickly. So if they're just like riddled with spelling errors, they might just chuck it in the bin, right? Or just delete it and move on, because if you can't, spell an essay right, how would you do well in college, right? So that might be their mindset. So really watch out for that. And like, I'm an English teacher. I'm not great at spelling. I use spelling software called Grammarly. And if you're watching this video, I'll just show you as a little bonus. Grammarly, you can sign up for free. You just sign in with your student email. Your P12 would be fine. And you'll have to answer a couple questions like, are you a student? What are you mainly using it for? But you can see here, I think I'll just pull up an example because I show this to my students every single time we turn in a writing assignment. Okay, so this is you might remember from 11th grade, pigeons essay, right? So it's just gonna go through and catch all the little errors, spell checking, grammar stuff, and it's just gonna help me out with that. So definitely copy and paste your own, narrative here, right? And it should catch probably about 90%. The other best ever received out loud. Since you're taking the class online, right? In the classroom, my students are like, oh, it's embarrassing. It's not. Just sit down. It's going to seem kind of silly, but you're going to catch 99% of any writing errors, any awkward phrasing, any obvious misspellings just by reading it aloud. The last thing you're going to do, and I hope your teacher sets this up for you, is sending this whole document. So you'll just hit the share button and you'll type in the name of your partner. So just like partner, right? And it's going to pop up with other students. So you might need to share via student number 2. That might be the easiest way. And your partner's going to read through your paper. Ooh, that's scary, but it's okay because working together will always make you a better writer. And you're going to fill this out for your partner, the same thing. They're going to fill it out for you. Do they have a title? Do they meet the word count? MLA, narrative devices, because you might know them, but it might not be obvious to someone else. Then they're going to go through on the rubric in a different color, right? Because you're going to grade yourself. So you're going to be like, oh yeah, I got a 4. So I'm just going to highlight that here. But your partner might say, hey, actually, I think you're maybe down here. And they're going to highlight in a different color. And then you might have a little conversation about, oh, this is what I think you're missing here. And you can talk through those things just to get you thinking about it, right? So that way, when your teacher grades it, nothing's going to be a surprise for you. So let me just undo all that here. But that's about it. Because you created the assignment as a Google Share link, it's already shared. So when you're done, you don't have to do anything special. You just hit turn in. Actually, you don't even have to hit turn in. It's shared already. Hopefully your teacher gives you some feedback. Typically what I do with students is if they want like long form feedback, like me to write up a couple paragraphs about that, I'll just make them include the word like feedback, typically up here. Like I'll have them write out feedback. That way I don't waste my time if you're just going to turn this in and never look at it again. But some students are going to use this to go on to apply to colleges. I've had a lot of students get into UW, but also a couple Ivy League and fancy schools down in California. But a lot of students also just maybe don't know what they're doing. And so this is a good backup to have. So if you're kind of in that boat, consider getting some feedback as well. But beyond that, that's the whole assignment. And after this, we'll move into our first short story. Awesome. Good work. Proud of you.